Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com, and this will be a live trade video, I think, where I try to get a trade caught live here, and I want to explain the context here. But I say a trade because market's been open an hour, started off pretty well, put to set up the context here. Down here you can see my gains. Now IMVT, I got a partial fill, so that was kind of just a no trade almost. And then Tesla treated me well for, when I only used 50 shares. So 50 shares to make, $177 did very well. Stepped away for a while, and I'm now coming back and seeing some very interesting action once again on Tesla that I think can really, put me nicely into the green. In fact, up over $500 because I would use larger share size on Tesla on this one, being 350 shares. And even if I just can scalp out, that could turn out to be very well, or do very well for me, because it is a very volatile stock. Now, of course, it could turn out to not be very well, and these are live, meaning that this is not a voiceover or some sort of recording. So I don't know what's going to happen next. There may not even be a trade, but I'm recording myself, seeing the information for the very first time. So if you want some raw thoughts, some raw emotions, raw reactions, you will get that. If you want a nicely scripted video, I'm sure you've already noticed this is not very scripted. If it is scripted, you're like, this is the worst. Who wrote this script? This is terrible. But nope, totally unscripted. So right now, like I said, I'm thinking Tesla wants to pull back here, but I'm not willing to commit to that thought until, it's got to show me a little bit more weakness than what it has. But right now, just kind of creeping higher and higher. And when I say pullback, I don't need to see this thing crash or anything like that. But I think, it could definitely pull back here a little bit. And like I said, I don't need this to give me a whole lot at all. In fact, 610. Yeah, even at 610, that's looking pretty interesting. So in there at 610.37, I believe this thing wants to get down below 610. And again, I'm not looking for a crash or anything like that. So there we go. And all out there for, let's do the math here. Got in at 610.38, got out at 608.89. So I don't know, what about $150? So about, I don't know, $400 or so. I'm not a math savant, as you can see here, but there we go. How long has this video been on? I mean, the video has been rolling for less than 3 minutes, and I just took my day up to $701. And I'm just, and I mean, you saw my thought process there. I wasn't looking for a grand slam, and I mean, to be fair, in hindsight, had I held, yeah, that would have been a lot bigger trade. But the way I turned that into a high probability trade was I wasn't looking for a grand slam. Now, of course, that doesn't make it a guaranteed trade, but it made it a very likely, a highly likely trade based on everything that I was seeing. And, like I said, I want to see a little bit more weakness. I got the weakness. And then because of my strategy of, hey, let me just try to scalp this, and I liked it enough to go share size of 350, it turned out very, very well. And in all actuality, I have not been around the marks. Now it's 10:40 a.m., so I'm at my computer a little bit later than what I normally am. But like I said, made those first couple trades. The market was kind of just, it had me confused, and I don't have any problem with that. Sometimes you'll just be like, what do you want to do, market? Like, what exactly is going on? But came back. So, okay, all right, Tesla. All right, I see what's going on here. And I think if I see, some certain things, then, that would make me want to make the trade. And I took it. And very quickly took my day from, and I don't want to say that $180 or whatever, it was like bad. I mean, $180 in 6 minutes, because that's, looking down here at my timestamps, for those of you not familiar with my screen, I made that trade at I exited the trade at 9:36, and then I'm now coming back basically, about an hour later, did another trade. That trade lasted 20 seconds. So, I mean, you can see right here the timestamps, got in at 10:37.34, got out at 10:37.54. So 20 seconds. Made the $450, whatever that was. I don't know the math. And, took my day up to now $700. So the moral of the story there is, if you're confused, that's okay. Step away for a while. Go do something else. I don't know, for me, I went and hung out with my kids for a little bit. Came back, wanted to see, you're checking the markets. Hey, okay, yeah, markets are acting a little bit more rational, at least for my liking. And then all it takes is one trade. sometimes, and I've done this, it's like, oh great, you think you got to do so much, you got to put in so much effort, and it's no, not really. If you find something you like, then hey, you know what, show that you like it. How do you show that you like it? Well, up that size, go a little bit bigger. Now if you're unsure, if like, do I like that, should I, then of course, don't even take the trade. Or if you want to sell, then you should be reducing position size in that situation. But in this situation, I liked what I saw, and went bigger. And again, like I said, in hindsight, I was wrong in the sense of I should have just held out for a little while longer, because that thing ultimately went down to $605. So I could have gotten another basically $1,000 out of it. That once again is all hindsight. But also the reason why I liked it was because I knew that my just looking for a scalp really increased the probabilities that it would work out. But overall, there we go. So day trading, all it takes is one. I guess that's really the main thing that I was thinking, that, and why I wanted to get the video rolling, because I thought, I think I can turn this into a real life lesson of why, if you see something, or excuse me, and I've realized I've said all this, I'm kind of just stalling here a little bit because I want to see what Tesla does and let you also see what it does in case, just so you can kind of get the rest of the story there. But if you're confused by the markets, if you're not really feeling it, cool. Welcome to the club. That's going to happen to everybody. In fact, I give you props for recognizing that in yourself. So step away, come back. And if you see some stuff that you're liking, and if you see some stuff that you really like I liked in this situation, then you always have the chance all right, let me bump up the share size. Let me bump up the amount of contracts. But again, that's under the premise that you have a strategy, that you actually know what you're looking at. And then with that, all it takes is one trade. And just like that, you can really, transform your day. So think about it. 20 seconds took my day from being up $180 to now being up $700 in 20 seconds. So I'll take it. And that's the moral of the story. It just takes one. So thanks for hanging out. If you do enjoy these videos, especially these kind of live lessons, if you will, then a very easy way to communicate that to me, please hit that like button and also leave a comment. The comment could be a thumbs up emoji, just some sort of basic comment, and hitting that like button communicates to me that you do enjoy these live trade videos, because they are difficult to make, because they are live. I have to talk to you. I have to think for myself. I have to, actually enter in the orders. I have to think through the trade plan itself. I mean, there's just a lot going on. So, they're not impossible, but they're kind of a hassle to make. But I will put up with the hassle as long as I know that there's interest. And again, like I said, the way to communicate to me that there is interest, hit the like button, leave a comment. It could be, give me the diamond hands emoji. Give me a volcano emoji. Give me I don't care. Give me maybe a one finger, because all it just takes one emoji, or just type, it just takes one in the comment section. And those little things go a long way in communicating to me that this is worth my time. It is worth the hassle to put out these live trade videos, because like I said, it'd be much easier to just record everything and then come back and talk about it. But I know through feedback, that's a lot of you don't really enjoy that. You kind of like the nitty gritty live emotions and all that. So like I said, just do those couple things and that'll communicate that to me. But thank you for hanging out, even though it was a small video. But like I said, sometimes it just takes one trade. That one trade could be 20 seconds, and just in 20 seconds, you can totally turn around your day. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up, as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.